once again in my tiny little home garage in the southeast of Sussex. In my 1968 bay window bus, 68, 69 bay window bus. And I'm here to do a live Q&A with you guys whilst working on my van. I've been quite busy today, as well as doing loads of bits and pieces around the house. I have been working on the bus as well. I have, if you can see, we now no longer have door cards in here, and there's no seats. I'm actually sat on a piece of board right here because these seats have been the bane of my life. I'll show you later, but basically the driver's seat, it's a left-hand drive car. It might look opposite to you. Left-hand drive car, these seats were actually stuck on the runners and I basically had to smash them off. I've managed to save the seat and save the runners, but it's going to need some work and I'll show you that later. Remind me, I'm going to have to show you it later. If you're joining us for the first time or if you're one of our regulars, please make sure to just start commenting down below. Let's get the chat rolling. I'm here for a Q&A. Maybe you are chatting already. I'm going to have to, I don't know, if you're watching, just put a thumbs up in the comment or something. Let's see if the comments are working. There we go, Black Pearl's in. He says good evening. That's Ash. How's it going, Ash? Yeah, inside my 68 bay once again. Trying to get on with some work. Like I say, I've been doing some bits and pieces on it today. So yeah, going back to it, done the seats, got them out. I've had a really good clean up. I've had the vacuum in here. I've been cleaning in and around the dash just so it makes it a nicer place to be. I know, I'm sure to you it looks proper scabby. But it's actually a really, really solid bus. I'll show you the worst bits later if you're new to this. But let's get into some of the comments straight away. We've got Two Wheels, One Idiot. He says, evening boss, Peroni as per. I'll show you mine in a minute. It's nothing exciting. Jake Porch, he says, hey, I just caught this getting back from work. Nice to see you, Jake. Kieran T says, nice to see you, Leigh. Thanks for the advice when I need it. I will come by and check out your showroom when I get the time soon. Now the T4 is back on the road. Sure you'll be interested. Yeah, absolutely. That's right. So if you've not seen us before, this is the Coombe Valley Campers YouTube channel. We do a live as much as we can. I try and get one done every Sunday, but we're either out camping or just busy as a family. We try and upload once a week as well, but again, we've been quite tardy on that just since we've been back on from holiday. But as when I can, I come and see you on a Sunday just so we can sort of chill in the garage, work on the bus, and yeah, just do a bit of a Q&A. So I'm sat in my 1969 Westphalia bay window. I've had this since like pre-COVID. No, about COVID, yeah, pre-COVID, something like that. Bought it off a friend of mine and it's just been sort of sat around waiting for me to work on it. You can catch some of the videos on our YouTube channel. Just look for Westphalia, it's called, on our YouTube channel. And now it's in my single garage, so I can just come here of an evening if I get the time. If I can work on it on a weekend, I'd give it a go. But what I've got today is the steering column. This van never had a steering column or a steering wheel. It had a steering column shaft, which I removed today in preparation for this. But I'm going to try and actually get that steering column in today. In the previous live we did, we took all the dash top out. So I have got better access to all the wiring because that's one of the things I want to snag up as well. There's loads of wiring in the steering column that all needs to be fed through. But yeah, it's just a full-on project. Kieran says, oh, is this the one you were cleaning up the patina paint on? Yeah, this is the same one. I can do a bit of a walk around later for you if you like, or in a minute. But first of all, we always ask you guys, if you're watching, who are you, where you're from, and what camper van do you drive, or what van do you drive, or what do you drive? You might not be a camper van owner yet, but we always ask if you want to start commenting. All I can see is your YouTube avatar names, so to speak, your profile names. So if you want to comment, leave a comment down below. Even if it's a thumbs up, that's really rad as well. If you're watching this, I can see, gosh, there is actually 64 people watching right now. If you do us a huge favor, because this video will still go out to more people, it's just double tap the screen right there, and then it gives the video a thumbs up, which would be really, really cool of you if you could do that. Gives the video a like, pushes it out to more people. It's just really rad to do. So yeah, thank you very much for watching so far. Thank you very much for commenting. We've got Kieran T saying, cool man, thank you so much. Yeah, so 72 of you, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Leigh, this is the Combe Valley Campers YouTube live. I'm in my 69 bay and we're about to start working on it. But whilst I'm working, please get in the comments, ask any questions you like about van conversion. It's an AMA, ask me anything type deal. I'll try my best to answer you whilst we are working. Another thing we always ask is, well, apart from who you are, where you're from, what vans you drive, we always ask what you're drinking. Two Wheels, one idiot has already commented saying he's got a Peroni on the go. I'm very boring tonight. I just grabbed this out of the fridge, a controversial Pepsi Max. Don't normally have these in the fridge, so I thought I'd give it a go because none of my beers or my ciders are cold. I refound my ciders and they've been sat in the garage after being rattling around in a camper van all summer. So yeah, very boring drink tonight. But yes, if you're watching and you fancy giving the video a help out, just double tap the screen right here and then it can get the video pushed out to more and more people. I can see there's actually 92 of you right now watching, which is brilliant. Thank you very much. If you're wondering, I'm Leigh. This is the Combe Valley Campers live channel, and we're going to start working on this. So, like I said, when I got this bus long time ago, all there was in it was a rusty steering shaft right here. And that was just connected to the steering box down there. I'll bring you down later if you can't see. But what I've been doing over the past sort of 4 or 5 years is collecting parts for it. And through a good friend of mine, Dave, he lives down in Hayling Island. He gets me all my parts. He's got a whole hoard of bits and pieces. And I managed to snag this, which we are hoping is an early bay steering column. We're hoping. It comes with wiring, and it even comes with an ignition key. Or if you're a fan of Vice Grip Garage, he calls these the ignition sticks, which I absolutely love. So we've got an ignition stick there. And what I'll do, I'll take you off the stand real quick. Oh, we've got some good comments. Oh, where are we? Reach. Right, so we have Kieran T says Corona from Chichester, 2002 T4 800 special, very, very nice. Jocker says Combi Brazil VW, very nice. Jake Porch, born in Hastings, living in Wales. Well, we're filming this currently right now in Bexhill. Two Wheels, One Idiot says, what's the black bit above your head? Looks newish, pop top clamp. Right, so that is not newish. This is actually a Westphalia only thing because you've got the support. You need the extra support for the roof, because they're the hinges there for the pop-top roof. If you can see, you've got 1, 2, 3 bolts that come through the roof and they hold the hinges. So what Westphalia did, they actually made a little metal support here and riveted it to the inner structure. So the weight of those hinges is actually supported by the inner structure, which is cool. Right, so let me flip this round and show you what we've got going on. So this is about how good the floor is. If you can see, it's a mess. Out of all the bad areas of this is the worst, and it's not that bad either. Bearing in mind this thing's from 1969, and when I got it, it had no windows here. This is the worst bit of floor, and you can actually get this whole panel in one piece. It's a couple of £100. But basically you can see around the edges, you basically pick off all the spot welds and then this whole piece comes up as one. And as you can see underneath, that's actually the chassis rail underneath there. It's actually really good and solid. It's just obviously where it had a rubber floor mat, the water stayed underneath the mat and just gradually soaked its way through. And the seat tums I'm sitting on, they look crappy, but actually really, really solid. So the area we're concentrating on today is this here. That little steering knuckle there is where our column is going to bolt to, And so we just need to try and fandangle our way into here and try and do the bolts up. Like I said, I took the existing column out and I've taken these bolts. I've actually lost one of the nuts. I'm going to have to go underneath and retrieve that in a second. But as far as it goes, a little tour. We've got the gear lever. There goes the steering column. Got gear lever here. That's connected to about nothing. Handbrake actually still works. Needs some adjustment, but that actually still works, which is quite remarkable. Brake pedal. It's got a return, but it's doing absolutely nothing. And then clutch, although it has a bit of return, that's obviously not connected to a clutch at the minute. Right up in here, ignoring these green wires, these are the two sections to the horn wiring. So you've got this spade terminal here, that's one part of the horn circuit, and that clips to the outer of the steering column, and then this cable here that I've already cut and I'll replace later. That goes all the way up the steering shaft, out the top of the steering shaft. If you can just see right in there, see that little cable coming out there? And that attaches to your horn button. So for those who are watching and have not seen this thing before, this is what we're all about. I'm only in my very small single garage. That's the wall to one side of the single garage. That's the wall to the other. I have a bit of walking space down here. That's it. But if I take you around here, this is the Patina bus. It did previously have all this blue paint everywhere. And then if you can just see there was yellow on the top half, blue on the bottom half. And we've slowly been removing the blue paint to reveal the OG white paint underneath. And it's quite a character, this thing, as you can see. But I'm going to try and leave as much as the patina as possible. This is behind the dash. After we took it out last weekend, I've now got full access to all the wires. I asked the question last week what this was, if you were watching live. And I double checked the terminal numbers. That's actually a very old school indicator relay. And it's obviously got very, very, very hot right about here. And melted a hole through, so that doesn't work. Kieran, no, you didn't miss the accelerator. I completely forgot to show you where the accelerator was mounted to. So obviously, yes, in any manual car, you have a clutch, a brake, and an accelerator. Now, if you can just about make out these two prongs here and a bit of a plate there, that was the hinge to the throttle pedal. And that there is the mechanism that goes on the back of the throttle pedal. You can actually just see the cable through there. So yes, we do have the pedal. I do have the linkage parts. But for the purpose of maybe moving this one day before we weld in the new floor, I might just screw in some sort of pedal just to get that working. So yeah, throttle, or what's left of it, brake and clutch. So I will very, very quickly take you underneath and see if we can find that nut and bolt down there. Now, I'm not installing this steering column properly or permanently, because obviously I'm going to need to remove that. Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to I pressed a button Sorry, is that working now, Jake? Ah, Russ is in, he says evening. So yes, my apologies. There's a mute button on here and I've pressed it by accident. Where are we? Jake Port says, yeah. Russ says, thought it was just me. Julie Brown says, yes. Good. Okay, cool. So we're back in action. So maybe when I was picking up the nut and washer when I was underneath, I might have just touched the screen. So yes, I have these castellated nuts and these bolts. And they go through that. It's effectively a dampening donut. And hopefully we can get the nut and bolt in. Now, for anybody who's owned a bay before, I had to make the ultimate sacrifice and remove the rubber grommet from the bottom of the column, which is this bit here, from this plate. And everybody who owns a bay or has owned a bay knows that that's an absolute nightmare to get back in. But for today's exercise, I need to get to these from the top. I'm doing it by myself, so I need that sort of access. Oh, as a note, there you go, there's the other half of the horn button right there. So let's see if I can sort of mock this up in a position that it will work. I'm going to lightly bolt this together, but I also have to feed some cables through. I'm wondering if I can get you closer without compromising anything. Let's see if I can put you just here. Whoopsie. Or just about here. How's that? Let's see if we can all work together doing this. So I've got some cables here. They're coming from the main part of the ignition barrel. So that'll be your main live. And already I can see there's a problem because there's a massive chock block in it. And that ain't going to fit through the hole. So what I'm going to do is actually just cut that off completely so I don't have to get that huge chock block through. And we've also got a nicely spliced cable there. Don't ever use these on your car. So looks like there's been a splice onto the original wire. That is going in the bin. So tell me if you can still see or if there's any problems, because your feedback's good. Oh, by the way, if you are watching and you haven't done already, we're what, 17, nearly 18 minutes in. Go ahead and just double tap on the screen right there. And what that will do is give the video a thumbs up, and then that will feed the video out to more people. So if you wouldn't mind doing that, that'd be wicked. So also, if you're watching, maybe even from overseas, let me know, because obviously this goes out to a UK crowd first, and then to overseas after, I think. Right, so what I've done here, and I'll see if I can pick you up and show you, let's flip you around. I've had to just feed this wiring loom. There's a purpose-made grommet right there. And that cable feeds in through that. And then this part comes up through. I really should do some Google specs, shouldn't I? So that this column, I'm now going to bolt loosely to this bit here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. I'm now going to loosely bolt this thing up to here. And then hopefully I can concentrate on that bit down there. Right, so where have we got? We've got Wolfie 909 is from Wales and Julie Brown is from Scotland. Good evening to both of you. Right, let's see if we can do this. I'm going to rest you up on my Pepsi Max bottle. God. It's amateur hour right here, isn't it? Totally amateur hour. Right, so cables fed through. That goes about there, and I've got the bolts to hold in this bottom section. Let's see if they're gonna feed in for me. If I get in the way, I do apologise. just going to have to keep an eye on the bald head for a second, people, I'm afraid. Now, Russell's still in here. Russell, tell me, is this bit... Is that bit meant to be straight? This plate here, is that meant to be straight or bent? Or is that upside down? Because... No, it's definitely the right way up. Just seems like it's tilted up. It seems at a funny angle. Oh well, this is all going to be an experiment. James is in, he says, evening Leigh. Motivate says British in Germany. Right, where we go? Looks like you had a gremlin go wild in there. USA here, but shh, don't tell everyone. Brilliant. Right, let's try with this bolt again. See if I can do it from the other side so you guys can actually see what's going on. I'm sitting on a piece of OSB board. Let's see if we can get this done. If I'm doing anything that's regarded indecent, do let me know. Right, so that's kind of lined up there. Wiring is kind of there. Gosh, it just looks like I'm shy. It doesn't look like that's going to go in. Is this the right one for a late or an early? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the right steering column. I don't know. Someone tell me what the fundamental difference is between an early and a late. I bought this in good faith, but if it's not right, I'm kind of scuppered. That just doesn't look like it wants to fit. That should definitely hold up to about there. That should definitely come up to about there. But it looks like it's short. It definitely looks like it's short. Oh, that would be a huge shame, wouldn't it? Maybe I could try it the other way. That totally looks like it's at the wrong angle. Has anyone got Google open? I can't check Google when I'm doing live on my phone. Is there an early and a late steering column? Maybe I've got the wrong one. Is the bracket upside down? It's a type 2. Yeah, see, I thought it was upside down. But I'll show you guys, look. It's a bit weird. Now, all the relays, see, that there is bolted, and all around this top rim of the metal, it's got a lip facing up. So if you were to flip it the other way around, it wouldn't be right. So maybe it's bent, or maybe there's an early and late. And again here, this face here is flat, which is meant to bolt to the underside of the dash. And this side's flat to bolt to the underside of the dash. I'm going to have to Google that now, aren't I? Well, that's a bit of a shame. This does have a part number on it somewhere. Bear with us 1 second. Let's have a quick look at a part number. Maybe if one of you lovely people can maybe do a Google search for me whilst we're on the lines. Because, see, that plate to me says early. We're going to do this together, people. There's only one way that can go. And that should bolt up to there like that, but it almost seems too upright, doesn't it? Almost seems too upright. And this bit's too long here. Almost like that should be shorter. Any comments? 131 folks watching. Yeah, tell me about it. Bolts from bottom under. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Gosh, that's bizarre. Let's give it another go. The other option is I take the wheel off and then try and mount this without the steering column in. Grant Cox says he's watching from the Netherlands. Now, I have already undone this nut. but these things are notorious for being seized on here. And it already looks like someone's tried to beat it off once before. I did not just say beat it off live on the internet, I promise you that. Now, the title of the video is, will it fit? Now, I don't know. It bolts to the firewall under, not over. Aha! See, now, I hear where you're going with that, anonymous, but it's captive on the bottom. So it can't go under. It can't go under because the captive side's underneath. I could show you real quick. Bear with us 1 second. Right. So if you have a look, the captive nut for that bolt is there. And it does look bent, doesn't it? It should bend up, not down. Right. I'm going to see if I can get this steering wheel off. Roosterman says, RVW restoration parts expensive? Generally no. Let's see if we can get this off. Right, I've got the nut on. I've got the nut on. I'm going to see if I can hit that through. I know I've got the world's tiniest mallet, but there's a hammer, but there's a mallet behind me. Oh, what was I saying just then, guys? Right, I need to hit that down. Let's get the mallet. Over this 1 second. Because what we're going to try and do is fit the column those bay window steering wheels are a bit of a pig to get off when they're old. They can be seized right on. Annoying. So yes, effectively that's meant to bolt up here. This plate here is meant to bolt up there, but that seems far too upright. I'm going to unbolt it, see if it looks bent, see if I can get the wiring up at the same time as well. Bolts under and flip it over. You flipped Mike off earlier, so beating us off isn't too bad. Fingers and steering wheel still in one piece, that's still a win, yeah, absolutely. The Bakelite didn't survive though. That's definitely something that needs replacing, is that steering wheel. Fitting a steering column used is probably not the thing you should do live with an audience of, well, it was over 100 earlier. Probably not something you should do with an audience regardless. It's the sort of thing you should just fight over between yourselves. Right, that's got a Phillips screw holding that on, so give us a second. In fact, there should be a Phillips here. Yeah, there it is. Roosterman says, is it gas or diesel? It's a nothing at the moment. It's got no engine in it at all, but originally this would have come with either a 15 or 1600 flat 4 air cooled. Right, so that's off. Yeah, see? The indicator relay that was screwed in there looks like it was never, ever off this van before. See how new that looks? John says, I had a quick Google and that bracket looks like it should be straight. Well, there you go. That looks like it's tips there and tips there. That does look a little bent, doesn't it? So that's the plate. Early bay. Yeah, it's definitely not right, is it? That's annoying. It's been bent a while too. But it matches up to the dash nice. If I chuck that up there and mount it underneath. Gosh, that is weird. What are we going to bend this round, peeps? I'll tell you what we could do first is let's just see if it fits onto our steering column at all. Well, there you go, that might answer our question. Maybe it is fine, and I was sold this in good faith that would fit on there. But all of those holes are way out. Can you see that? Let's see if I can show you here. Right, so there are 4 holes. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there are 4 holes in there. Look how much that doesn't line up. It's totally the wrong piece, or it's totally the wrong steering column. What a shame. What a shame. Okay, well that is back to the drawing board for that one. 100%. Right. Huge shame there. That's irritating, isn't it? So, luckily for me, there's still plenty to do in here, but that is quite irritating. Let's just see if we can fit you up there. So, whilst we're here, and we've got a good few of you available, have you guys got any comments on camper conversion? This is the Coombe Valley Campers YouTube channel. We've got over 300 plus videos online on YouTube showing you how to build and convert your own camper van. So this being a Q&A, do you have any questions regarding camper van conversion ownership, traveling in the UK, traveling in Europe, converting your van, any questions about solar, about water, about electrics? Because we're here, it's a Q&A. And if you're not asking questions, have a look through the comments, see what other people have said. Or if you'd like to give the video a thumbs up and a like, which helps push this out to more people, just go dink dink, tap the screen right there, and that will give the video a like and then shoot it up the ranks so more and more people will see it. So let's have a quick look see. So yeah, I flipped the mic off earlier, so beating us off isn't too bad. So Anonymous, who seems to be doing lots of Googling for me behind, that's really, really good of you. He says it's definitely Ben. Do you need a new title for this machine? I do have the US title. And I just need to go through the process, but I need to get this van in some sort of roadworthiness before I go and get all the checks done. Loz H is in. He says, hi. Hello, my man. Mason says, hey, great. I managed to get to see this live stream. I have a question regarding my ceiling install. Apart from the sound deadening before I put the wood up, what do I need to put to insulate it? Right, so generally we put at least 1 layer of insulation up. Sounds like you've just got 1 layer of sound deadening on your ceiling, which is the thin, if you're using Dodo mat, you've got like a hex pattern or a square pattern self-adhesive product that sticks directly to the metal, stops the metal doing this. It sounds more like a thud, like you're knocking on wood almost. And then over that, we use a product called Thermo Liner. It's available in our shop right now. It comes in lots of different thicknesses, but generally, if you were to just apply the 6mm Thermo Liner in your ceiling, that's a great first barrier. And then if you have the room in between, let's say, your ply and your top skin, if you've got enough room, maybe you can fit the insulation in there as well. The what's it called? My brain's gone dead. The Thermo Fleece, which is a recycled plastic bottle product, you can fit that in there. So use a bit of high temperature spray adhesive, loosely spray both sides, being the ceiling and the back of the fleece material. Sorry, I've just seen something really weird and gross hanging down from here. Don't know what that was. So yes, sound deadening, the Dodo Thermo Liner, which is a 6mm product, and then the Thermo Fleece if you can fit it in. So yeah, there you go. A camper van conversion question, done, tick. I'm here to answer your questions. I've been converting vans now. Again, if you're new to this channel, I've been converting vans for, well, certainly playing with vans for 15, 20 years, and I've been converting vans professionally for 10. Converted hundreds and hundreds of camper vans now, which is good fun. And then Coombe Valley Campers, we are our workshop, but more so we're retail with an e-commerce shop, and we now have a showroom down in East Sussex. So if you're thinking of converting a van and you want to come and have a look at maybe some interiors or seats or whatever it might be, come down the showroom. It's always good to say hi. Mason says, great, thank you. I'll go ahead and get some orders from your store. I got my carpet from your store 2 weeks ago and done a bit of carpeting. Thanks for your help. No worries. Motivate, Goggy, hello my man. He says, I have a table in my sliding door and realise it's slightly scraping the back wheel arch. What to do? Double check the fitment of the frame all the way round, and it'd be worth checking the clips. I'm sure that has clips that hold it in. Make sure they don't need adjusting, just to hold that table in a little bit better. Or failing that, if I remember right, is there a hook on the back of that door panel that sort of secures it into the metalwork of the door? Maybe one of those hooks has become unattached or loose or something like that, which means the table's pushing out from the inside of the door and then touching your wheel arch. So have a look at that. I just found a wicked spider web. Gross. Ruben Campos says, what glue do you need to use? We use a high temperature spray adhesive. It's a contact adhesive, which means you have to spray both sides of the surface first. So whatever you're sticking something to, spray that, and the product you're sticking to it, spray that as well. Let them both tack off and then stick them together. We've got plenty of videos online regarding carpeting for your vehicle. So yeah, that's a good one. Whilst we're here, I might go and get the dash pod out. I'm sure I've got a dash pod here, so we can maybe chuck it in, have a look, see if that fits, and maybe have a look at some of the wiring, because I brought all my wiring stuff with me. Let's see how much I can hurt myself by trying to get this box down. Bear with us 1 second. Right. Mason says, sorry, I've got loads of questions as I'm new to this and just doing a small conversion on my short wheelbase 71 plate Transit Custom. What order would you do the ceiling, floor and walls in? A bit more context, Mason. Sorry, do excuse me. Right, I think I've got to get that box up there. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I might have to move the van forward. Right, let's see if we can do this together, shall we? Bear with us 1 moment. Let's see if I can move the van forward. There's nothing in front of it. Let's see what I'm going to run over. Well, that was the first thing. That's the garage door. So there you go. Stop rolling back. Right, let's see if I can get this box down without dropping anything and everything. Whoa. Definitely going to drop it. Oh no, we survived. And I found the stuff. Win. I'm going to bring this whole box around because it's cool. Ta-da! Right. Got some extra hubcaps. Check that out. Beautiful, beautiful dash clocks. Apparently whatever van this came out of had 48,802 miles on it. And it's empty, it's got no fuel in it. There you go, there's the back. You've got all your worry lights on the back. 12 volt and ground. That's your dash lights. And that, if you want it, or if you've got a high spec van, there's a clock. Or a rev counter, maybe. You can get aftermarket rev counters that go in there, and they're super cool. These are the fancy bits. Got another half decent headlight. And my swap meet find. Genuine Hella. They're plastic ones, I thought they were glass. But not new old stock, but used good VW rear lights. And that's the glass bit, because it's an American bus. I thought they were glass. One of them was. Yeah, they are glass. Yeah, glass lensed Hella lights. They're the reverse lights. Whole box of tricks down there. As well as a fuse box. I think I need that. Cool. Should we get back in there? Have a look. Right, so Mason says, sorry, I want to ply my ceiling carpet, all the walls, and ply my floor. What order would you say is best? I was thinking ceiling first to get all the cables for my lights, and then floor, then walls. Right, so generally, I would say carpet the walls first, because then that's even before putting a ply floor down. So carpet the walls first, then you put the floor down on top, so that's a nice seamless edge, and then put your ceiling panels up after that as well. So carpet the walls, carpet the ply, put the ply up, put the floor down, put the ceiling up, and then it should be nice and seamless all the way around. Right, let's put you back in here, and let's see if this dash will go in and look half decent, shall we? Right, so if anybody needs a bay window steering column, I got one. Mason says thank you. You are more than welcome. Right, is that going to stay there? So I'm going to bring you in. So let's see this. Now I had to find a left-hand drive with a mile-an-hour clock in it. There we go. Now it's got all of the, I'm gonna have to take these out. Can I just take them out? Should be able to, shouldn't I? Oh no, yeah, look, they're all bent. Or are they meant to be like that? No, they're all bent, I think. No, they're meant to be like that. But I've got to fit them through that gap there. Let's put you just there for a second, resting against my Pepsi Max again. Right, let's have a look. One, two. Oh man, these are all sorts of bent. Trying to get my digits in there whilst working at it at the same time. So, if you were wondering, these vents actually control your heating and your fresh air. I'll operate them in a minute so you can see how they work. Because all the dash is out, you can see everything's exposed. Just need 8 fingers to get all these vents in place. Ow. Go. Put that cable in. Come on. Win. Look at that. Right, so these vents here, as you can, oh god, that one's stiff. As you can see, defrost, and I believe this side is heat. So all your levers are here, and they'll have a blue or a red tab or a black tab on them. And so that's heat down, I guess. That's heat down and heat up, and that's heat all the way up. But if I operate these cables, you can see the mechanisms behind. So that one there is going through the floor down here. So I reckon that these two are the heat. Yes, these two are the heat. So high heat, low heat. And they're attached to two cables, these two here, that run all the way under to the heater boxes underneath. So yeah, when you want heating up the dash, you've got to get engine heat all the way from the back of the van, all the way through under the van, up this tube. You've got a flap here, which spills it out down here to your feet, or out here into a series of plastic vents that all come up to your dash. Look, there you go. There's one of the vents there. And that's all the tubing underneath. Fascinating, isn't it? Right, so now I can push the van all the way back and have a look at some of the wiring behind the dash. Right, I'm going to sit you there and flip you around. Over the stone. There you go, that's about it. Right then. Yeah, check it out. I brought all of my wiring stuff because I thought maybe we could play wiring today. But now it's giving me a right trick. So check it out. Actually, all of these cables, wherever they go to and correspond to back here, these are the bulb holders in there. And all of the wiring's already got its bulbs on it. So I might just be able to take these out and swap them straight over another day. So what else have we got going on here? This here is my speedo cable. One of the last things to go on really, because it's a bit of a pain and gets in the way. That speedo cable goes on here, and that is driven from the front wheel simply by the front hub. This little one here, which one's the headlight switch? Can't remember. I think it's this one here. That one's the headlight switch. And so this little one terminates on the back over there, which will give you dash lights when you turn on your dash lights. I think what we really need to do, no way, look, it's already connected to the van. So we've actually got two sets of grey and red. So if I peel this one out, there you go, look. That's hilarious. Bear with us a moment. So I've now got double the amount of grey wiring that I need, look. Because I've got this one that's connected to the instrument cluster, and I've got this one that's connected to the headlight switch. So basically I can just go dink, and I'll replace that one just on there. There's one. And then I can take this one off of here. I'm going to do it one-handed. And I can go dink. Put that one on there. There's our first connection made. And that one is surplus to requirements. And so is that bulb. Always good to keep them spare. So that can go over there. Now, we know that's our indicator relay, right? So we know it needs a left and a right indicator. And if we have a look, that'll be right, that'll be left. So in reality, let's go and get you on a stand. Let's get you on a stand real quick. 1 second. And let's hope you can see what I'm doing. Not a lot of commenting, by the way. So if you do fancy commenting, so I know you're still around, please do. Can you still see what I'm doing down here? Can you still see what I'm doing? Let me know. Maybe I need the light around here. So yes, blue comes straight off our indicator relay. And we know these top two, if you can see. Yeah, it is an old VW Van Mason. It's a 69 bay. So I can just take that terminal off and connect it straight to one of them. Get in there. There's one. I can disconnect the other one there. And then that is two. Rad, we are getting somewhere. And I'm going to guess these are the lives. There's one from the hazard switch. And there'll be one that goes to the steering column for the left and right indicator. What else have we got going on? That will be to the steering column, that one there. Because that is a black with a green and white tracer. And if I go back to that steering column, I bet that's got one over there. I've got black with a green. Oh yeah, it'll be one of those for sure. Cool. And I'm getting spare bulbs out of this deal too, which is wicked. I'm going to bring the light around here. See if I can do stuff with the light as well. There you go, is that a bit better? Now this is actually a feature heavy bus. Because it does have a heated rear screen and a cigar lighter. But I don't think they were factory things from 1969. I think that was a feature you had to order. A special order feature that would have been. Now I need my screw back. There it is, that one. And a screwdriver. Because what I'm going to do is put this plate back on. Hang on. Is that a personal project or a customer's? This is a personal project. This is mine. I've had this for a very, very, very long time. And I brought it home to my garage so I can actually work on it without disturbing anyone at work or taking priority of it. But my vehicles never take priority. Russ says, you're still blowing my tiny mind with the switching left-hand drive to right-hand drive mirroring thing, particularly when it goes lefty-tighty. Sean Creswell, is there another Campers and Coffee event planned? Yes, there is. There is a Christmas Campers and Coffee event planned. And the date is going to be confirmed very, very shortly. And that hose should go to the other side of that plate. Yes, the event is going to be, the dates for the event are going to be revealed very, very shortly. It's either the 13th of December or the 14th of December. Right, I need to get those in the right direction. Come on now. So it's a shame, isn't it? It looks like I've got to spend more money on this after buying what I thought was the right thing. And it's definitely not the right thing. Right, I'm going to come back in the front. Do excuse me, coming in this way. Because this little plate at the bottom, if you can see me moving it, it'll be far easier for me if I bolt that up to the dash now, so then it gives me something to work from. Pop that in there. Pop that one in there. All the wires are north of it. That's good. One of the things I really wanted to do was to actually like get some wiring all attached to it. I'd really like to see the indicators work, see the headlights work. I think that would be good fun. And you guys, I guess you like watching people work on Old Crap Live. Let me know, have you enjoyed watching me work and talk rubbish for an hour? I guess if people are tuned in and still watching, could I make a series of this? Could I do an hour every day of working on this? Russ says, do you have a plan for the interior paint? Yeah, basically I'm going to, as you probably noticed in the background, it all looks a bit tarnished and rusty. I've actually covered that on a previous live. I'm actually using, what's the name? CLR, American product, calcium lime and rust remover with a very light scotch. And I'm going over it all so it brings back that ivory white, and then basically I'll clear coat everything on the inside and out. I want to keep the patina and just clean it up so it's a nice place to be. You know, when I'm working on it I think, man, this was the perfect project because it's a solid, although it doesn't really look like it right now. Because it's a solid, I keep thinking this will be a perfect project to just dip and then make a really mint van. But when you have really nice cars, you're afraid to use them. And I want to use the heck out of this. Right, do you know what? Why am I putting that old... I'm going to put that in there anyway. I'm just thinking, why am I putting the old indicator relay in there? But it's got a screw point, so I'm just going to put it in. And then if I find the headlamp relay, which is a big old beast, and apparently that just clips its way in. So I'm just going to clip that in about here. Kind of hope for the best, really. And then I'll have to, that's kind of sitting there. And then what I'm hoping is, and I could bring you in, couldn't I? No, we're fine for the minute. Right, let's bring up all the telltales. There's all the bulbs. Well, there's an earth for a start. Or a ground, sorry. I'm going to put that ground, because it's the one back from the engine bay. I'm going to clip that ground to the actual dash itself. Because if you've got a telltale light, you want it grounded. So that's there. There's some more telltales there. I can't remember. Is oil pressure? Oil pressure's blue with green, isn't it? Right, so the other lights I've got, I've obviously got generator, or alternator, oil, full beam and dip beam by the looks of it. So I'm sure those two, yeah, those two. There's a blue and a blue with a green tracer. I'm sure blue with a green tracer is alternator, sorry, oil pressure, and blue is alternator. So alternator's the one on the left. Pop that one in there. Blue with green is oil. Correct me if I'm wrong, by the way. Russ says, sounds good, the 0-0-0-0 approach. Yeah, basically. Jake says, yeah, it's been nice to chill with a few glasses of wine after a long working weekend. Yeah, bless you, man. Working weekends suck. I did actually go to the workshop this weekend. Oh, we're over the hour. Do I keep going? Do I keep going? Oh. So, now I just need the two light telltales. So, Google for me quick. I've got one more telltale. Oh no, I've got two. One is coming directly from the fuse panel. That's a solid white cable. And the actual light looks like a grey with a white tracer. And then white with a black tracer. I'm going to say that's dipped beam. And that one's full beam. So full beam is the left. And dipped beam is on the right. Or your left, or my right, whatever you like. And then there's two, fuel sender, those two up there. I wonder which those two are. Quick, Google, which one's the fuel sender? So there's two little leads right at the back up here, can you see? So there's two more terminals right there. Mason says, when doing my electrics on my van, am I able to use a spare car battery to power everything to test all the 12 or 24 volt stuff? Or what's the best way to test what I have installed as I go along? Do you know what? We use something as simple as a Milwaukee 12 volt battery just to test things. So if you have a Milwaukee drill system, battery system, you can just use that, really. Find out which ones are the two. It's the front two. If you're looking at the back of the battery, the right side is pos, the left side is neg. And then maybe use a set of jump leads, make a set of jump leads, and that's how you can just test things as you're going, really. So yeah, it works out quite well. Now, two cables from the fuel tank sender. What are they, do you reckon? I cannot remember. I see an empty terminal there. But that looks like it's coming from a... Aha! Oh no, that's a big live. I don't know. Gosh, this thing's even got interior lights on the switch. That's ridiculous. Which one is the fuel tank? Someone Google for me, quick. Which one is the fuel tank sender? Is that these two greens? That kindly loosely hanging around. I don't think it is. It seems to be two random greens. Not that one, not that one, not that one. I'm gonna have to Google it now. Julie Brown says Rains. Do you mean Haynes? I don't know. Right. This has been super fun today. Really, really good fun hanging out. I've just realised where my fuse panel goes as well. My fuse panel is snapped entirely, but I've just figured out where it goes. Let me show you real quick. So this thing has been hanging down here for ages, and I noticed underneath the dash, just here,
don't know if you can see it. Right, we're looking down there. Can you see that little threaded screw down there? That one there. And there's another one just there. If I get it in focus. That one there. And if I bring the fuse panel up, ta-da! Look at that. Like it's meant to be there, right? Hang on, get the other side up. There you go. That's definitely where that's meant to be, right? So, your fuse panel just sits there. But we've still got a lot of terminals hanging around, look. Lots of terminals hanging around. So, because it's been an hour, because we've got to say goodnight to my girls, because it's far too late for them to be up, I'm going to say goodnight for now. If you enjoyed this, please do give it a thumbs up. Just tap, tap, tap on the screen right there, and that will give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. Like I say, we're going to call it today. We didn't quite get the steering column fitting because it looks like it's the wrong one. But we'll try and come back to that another day. In the end, we've managed to answer some questions. We've put the dash clocks in just here, as you can see. Connected up some things, shows you how the levers operate. Had a good time. So once again, thank you for getting involved. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the thumbs up. Really, really appreciate it. And see you next week. Bye. Oh, turn off. There we go.